Asia's largest news headquarters. Setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the Monday edition of This Is Exclusive with me, Shavan. Ladies and gentlemen, just about a few days ago, a social media clip of the Mizoram Chief Minister, supposedly a speech that was delivered at the United States of America, where it was largely perceived as a separatist view of the Mizoram Chief Minister. So much so, you've had the Bharatiya Janata Party leaders taking up this entire matter, saying that this is unacceptable. For the first time, Mizoram Chief Minister has now spoken about what he believes was a propaganda that was carried out against him. And he says that he was speaking about a diverse community coming together and once again looking forward to what he believed was complete unity. All this and much more on this edition of This Is Exclusive. But up first, let's take you through the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Massive fury after Mizoram Chief Minister's video from his US visit goes viral. Some say that Lalduhoma was trying to further some sort of separatist rhetoric after political to and fro. Republic brings to you Mizoram government's first official response. Republic accesses exclusive visuals and details of Lashkar-linked forces behind Srinagar grenade attack. Pakistan's terror module completely exposed once again.
आज को जाति में, धर्म में, भाषा में टुकड़े 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 में बांटने की साजिश चल रही है.
Prime Minister Modi warns against divisive forces, says there is a conspiracy to divide the society on the basis of caste, religion and language.
I don't consider his absence a surprise or a shock. It is certainly, as a leader of opposition, something that you don't expect. But then he's Rahul Gandhi. He thinks he's an entitled dynast to whom rules don't apply, protocols don't apply.
Leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, absent from Justice Khanna's oath ceremony. Sources say absence because Justice Khanna's uncle had passed an order against emergency. Racist Congress at it again. Congress Minister Zabir Ahmed calls Union Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy dark-skinned. He later takes a U-turn and says that he called H.D. Kumaraswamy Khalia out of love. Ladies and gentlemen, just about a few days ago, there was a viral video of the Mizoram Chief Minister with regards to a speech that he had delivered in the United States of America. It appeared that there was a separatist mindset of the Chief Minister, where he was essentially talking about the fact that they were unsatisfied with the fact that they were taking in what was seen as the Britishers had given, dividing the community into three countries. Once again, Mizoram Chief Minister's office essentially now indicating that this was nothing but a propaganda. And the fact that the Chief Minister never essentially spoke about dividing the community, rather says that there was an attempt that was being made by the Chief Minister to bring together the community, and the fact that he himself has been advocating for a unified state. Take a look at this report and then we go across to the first big newsmaker joining us on This Is Exclusive.
Few days back, a video of the Chief Minister of Mizoram went viral on social media.
As far as we are concerned, we shall never ever accept the division of our people into three countries. This will never be acceptable. And the boundaries are imposed boundaries by the British government. In that committee, we are never represented. We are never consulted. Therefore, it is an imposed boundary. We'll never accept it. We'll never accept construction of boundary fencing in between us.
Mizoram Chief Minister Lalduhoma's call was popularly inferred to be a call for a separate Christian nation, raising concerns about church influence in northeast India. Many argue that his remarks hint towards a veiled agenda aimed at unifying Christian communities across India, Myanmar and Bangladesh. However, the government of Mizoram categorically maintains that they have no inclination towards any separatist or secessionist agenda. Republic has accessed the full video clip of the Mizoram CM's statement during his United States visit.
India unity and diversity. Nam si shang trang, sa ka trang trang, trong si shang shang. An mga, jadi susuan namro pui tanpo nila. Tuna India sarkar ina sunai pai le bu fai le kip mai min pe angsa min pe thei sarkari.
In fact, Republic has also accessed another clip of Chief Minister Lalduhoma talking about the Akhand Bharat or the United India vision.
Akhand Bharat vision ani. Akhand Bharat chu Greater Motherland ani. Kan Prime Minister le kan Home Minister le Finance Minister te chunga. Lom thu ka soidwa. Kan mamo kan thlente in hong takin minti sakzela. Oi safai angte akha saw nilo akai nang tein Bible setam tak in seng samin India Central Sarkar hian heng kanuna ten kol na akian min pui renga mual polamin kanom thaipa ani.
The political to and fro has just begun. But what was the Mizoram CM actually talking about? Let's find out.
Well, in fact, for the first time, you have the Mizoram Chief Minister's office responding to the viral video and also the release that was basically put out by the government. Jonathan, the OSD to the Chief Minister of Mizoram, joining us on this broadcast. Jonathan, thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV. We have played out the entire speech of the Mizoram Chief Minister. But this entire confusion stems from the fact that there is a DIPR release. And I want to put that out for all our viewers. I'm quoting from what was the release. This is what the Chief Minister's statement or the speech indicated. And I'm quoting, I want us to have the conviction and confidence that one day, through the strength of God, who made us a nation, we will rise together under one leadership to achieve our destiny of nationhood. While a country may have borders, a true nation that transcends such limitations, we have been unjustly divided, forced to exist under three different governments in three different countries, and this is something we can never accept. Jonathan, this was largely perceived as a demand for a separate state altogether. This is for the first time the government is speaking. I'm assuming the Chief Minister has tasked you to put out what they believe is the right perspective.
Yes, Sawanji, thank you. Yes, I'm here, under the permission of Honorable Chief Minister of Mizoram. Yes. So, first of all, see, if one were to look at the DIPR article alone, it is quite understandable that, my Chief Minister might have this separatist tendency in his speech. But that's what I hope we can clarify in this interview tonight, that, that is not what it is. So if you were to look at the entire speech, the script which has been given to you, the DIPR part is only a gist of the entire speech, because the speech was, the hard copy was handed out right after both the session there as well. So number one, what my chief minister really said was that, it's about a call for unifying the community, because if you look at what is happening, especially in Myanmar, there is a lot of infights between the communities, right, which has an adverse and direct impact into Mizoram and India at large. So the reason why HCM accepted this invitation to go to United States was also to really address this issue, which is really on the rise. Yeah. Yes,
Jonathan,
please.
Jonathan, the question here is about what does the Chief Minister essentially mean that they have been divided into 3 states and it is time to bring them together? As I understand, this would largely be perceived as a demand for a separate nationhood. If you can explain, where does it really stem from? The very fact that there is a large influence of the church in several states, several northeastern states, and many would see this as a large influence really coming in for a separate nation altogether.
Sawan, here, if we look at history, right, Britishers' divide and rule policy is very real. I mean, that is someone, I don't think anyone would doubt on that. So the colonial boundary, if I may, is something which is never acceptable for any Zo altogether. So yes, every Mizo stands with Chief Minister when when he says that colonial boundary is not acceptable to anyone. So that is what he meant. But the aspect in which bringing about the church, the religion aspect of it, carving out, that was far from it. I really don't understand how that has come about in the first place, because there was never an inclination in his speech about Christianity or anything of that sort. So this is where our concern is, because our chief minister went to the United States and on 30th August, and the speech in Maryland was on 2nd September, and in Indianapolis it was on 4th September. So 2 months have passed, right? 2 months have passed, and the article has been published on DIPR for good 2 months. But now people decide to pick bits and pieces of his speech, the video which has been played out, plus the certain scripts from the DIPR article, right? So this looks like there is a propaganda to malign not just the state of Mizoram, the people of Mizoram, plus government of India as well, someone here, because Chief Minister went to United States with MEA clearance, right? And in both the event in Maryland as well as in Indianapolis, IFS officer, from Indian Embassy as well as from the Consul General of Chicago, they were present there at the event. In fact, in Indianapolis, the Consul General himself gave us a speech talking about unity and such. So it's a vile effort by certain segments of the society who is really trying to bring out this propaganda, secessionist, ideology of the chief ministers and things like that. So it is never that. Coming about our chief minister as well, mind you, he is a former IPS officer. Yeah.
Jonathan, the
please.
reason why many would be asking this question is, A, of course, there was no clarification that was given to the DIPR statement that was released. But having said that, this is also in the time that we're talking is about the Kuki Zo Chin sentiment that is growing and the very fact that the volatile situation that we see in the border areas. That is the reason why many perhaps would be extrapolating what the Chief Minister is saying. So you ought to be very careful about what you're essentially saying, because there was no clarification that was put out even by the Chief Minister's office. So keeping in mind the sentiment of the Kuki, Zo, Chin, overall sentiment, overarching sentiment that is essentially emerging.
Yes, absolutely. See, I won't go as far as, the Zoku kitchen aspect of it, because this was not really about the Zokuki aspect in this. This is more to do with what is going on in Myanmar, because the Mizo so-called diaspora that we have in United States, which is also very influential for that matter, is, and the infights we are talking about is primarily from the Myanmar side, from the Chin communities, basically. Right. So there are various articles which have been published around this. And I think if you kind of do a little bit of a read up on what is going on in Myanmar and the situation that is happening, it is a concern. It is a concern not just for Mizoram, but for India at large. So one point that I would like to mention here also is that my Chief Minister is assigned a very important role by Government of India on this regard. That is as far as I can reveal. But he is on a mission, and he has a task, a very important task for that matter, and that's why he is quite vocal about probably the Zo reunification and things like that. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast and putting this into perspective, because many would have thought that this would pass off as a separatist rhetoric made by the Chief Minister. Thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast and putting this into perspective. Okay. Well, in fact, all this while, you've had Farooq Abdullah trying to pass on a narrative that Indian agencies were trying to destabilize Omar Abdullah's government, and the fact that Pakistan cannot be blamed for the recent attacks that have taken place. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight on This Is Exclusive, we put out the facts. The Srinagar grenade attack face is now out. My colleague Zeenat has got us exclusive images of who was behind the grenade attack that took place in Srinagar. And the real mastermind of it is none other than this man that you see on your screens, Sheikh Osama Yasin, born in 1999 and from Srinagar, Ikrajpura in Srinagar. He is the man who is behind the attack that took place in Srinagar. Let's take you through more details of it. His discontinued studies, pursued training at ITI Baba Dem. Let's take you through more details of it. Criminal record, December 2018, he was arrested for waving the ISIS flag. 13 UAPA acts at Nauhata police station. Booked 4 times due to radical behavior. And these are the terrorist links in contact with the Pakistani handlers. So, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that there is a Pakistani link is also exposed. Provided logistics to the terrorist in Srinagar. Provided logistics to terrorist Bilal Bhai. Let's take you through more details coming in. Connected with the narcotics terror handlers. And the fact that he was directly in contact with Lashkar-e-Toiba handlers in Pakistan. Now, let's also take you through the other links that are basically emerging. 18 security personnel were basically killed in action when the attack took place. 14 civilians have been killed by the terrorists here. This is the overall link that's coming in. 13 terrorists have been killed so far. And 8 out of the 10 districts of Jammu have also recorded terror attacks. Now, this is a consolidated picture that is basically emerging of the attacks that have taken place in the Jammu region. But the fact of the matter is this: we are unmasking the mastermind behind the Srinagar attack that took place. Let me also go across to my colleague Zeenat, who's getting us those exclusive details of the Pakistani link that is emerging and the fact that who's the real handler Farooq Abdullah all this while wanted everyone to believe that this is the handiwork of the agencies, Zinat. What more details are you picking up as we put out the first exclusive pictures of the mastermind?
See, Shravan, this is an exclusive story, and the exclusive imports that we are breaking here, the Republic. It's almost been the 9th day, but Srinagar police was able to crack this case in less than 4 days when they were able to arrest Osama along with 2 of his associates. The links directly emerging from the Pakistan. He has been working for ISJK in Kashmir, but has been an operator of Lashkar-e-Toiba in Kashmir Valley. Although his terror records emerged from 2018 till date, he was waving flags in Jama Masjid in 2018, then got a bail. Then he was involved with Bilal Bai, who got neutralized in Haidarpora, which is an infamous case of Haidarpora encounter. He was providing support. And then if we talk about the recent terror attack that took place in Srinagar, and that really shook the entire society, because it's been after more than 2 years the Srinagar city witnessed such kind of attack. And this time, who was the target? It was not forces, it was not non-locals, it was only the local population that was targeted. So that tells you that Pakistan even has no love for the locals here, and Pakistan carrying the investments and the J&K police trying to demolish that investment in Jammu and Kashmir. Yes, Shravan.
Well, Zinat, we'll try and put out the full report for those who are joining us on this broadcast where we are unmasking. My colleague Zinat getting us exclusive images of the mastermind and who exactly was responsible for it and how exactly is he linked to Lashkar-e-Toiba. Take a look at this exclusive report.
Kashmir's journey towards peace continues, but there are some who refuse to accept it. Pakistan, unable to see stability and calm in the valley, is leaving no stone unturned to create unrest. Despite the increasing desire for peace among the people here, Pakistan seems determined to destabilize Kashmir with terror, using cross-border infiltration and targeted attacks on innocent civilians. Last Sunday, this was the scene of an ISJK-led grenade attack in the bustling Sunday market. 12 civilians were injured in the explosion, lives shattered in mere seconds. Among them, a mother of 2 young children now clinging to life at the ICU at Shireen Bagh Hospital. Her family devastated. Her 2 young children face a nightmare no child should. The encounter statistics in recent weeks show a stark pattern. An overwhelming number of Pakistani terrorists being neutralized here in the valley, which only underscores Pakistan's active hand in fueling this chaos. The locals of the valley have also established their clarion call: stop the cross-border terrorism. Republic has accessed exclusive details of the terrorist who was involved in the Srinagar grenade attack. Sheikh Osama Yassin, a terrorist based out of Ikhrajpora in Srinagar, has been arrested for waving the ISIS flag before. Not only that, he is believed to have deep links with Pakistani handlers of the Lashkar-e-Toiba. As the list of countless lives being claimed only grows longer and longer, when will the Pakistan-sponsored terror outfit finally stop spreading terror in the valley?
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
We feel devastated that this has happened in the city of Spinoza and Anne Frank. Please be assured that the perpetrators will be prosecuted. Meanwhile, a full investigation will take place in the Netherlands on the question if the Dutch authorities, if we as Dutch authorities acted properly. So we will evaluate the situation and what happened.
genuine potential here economically of India being the leading player of the global south.
People are now seeing that emerging markets will speak and will speak on agenda which matters to them, and we can't ignore them because they constitute a substantial part of the global trade, global economy. Specifically, people came to me, finance ministers came to me to say India's G20 presidency stands out for two things, for the content and also the conduct.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Welcome back, friends. This time has come once again when the greatest economic minds of India will gather under one roof and discuss the driving force behind our thriving economy. Republic Media Network presents the 4th edition of the India Economic Summit, Viksit Bharat Bullseye, a platform where topmost ministers, visionary policymakers, renowned economists and influential industry leaders and entrepreneurs will chart India's economic future. Tune in Tuesday, that's tomorrow, November 12th, for all the live action here on Republic TV. Now, let me get you the headlines. Fadnavis responds with Razakar jibe after Owaisi's veiled attack on Hindutva icon Veer Savarkar.
समाज को जाति में, धर्म में, भाषा में टुकड़े 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 में बांटने की साजिश चल रही है.
Prime Minister Modi warns against divisive forces, says there is a conspiracy to divide the country and society on the basis of caste, religion and language.
I don't consider his absence a surprise or a shock. It is certainly, as a leader of opposition, something that you don't expect. But then he's Rahul Gandhi. He thinks he's an entitled dynast to whom rules don't apply, protocols don't apply.
Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi skips the CJI oath ceremony. Sources say absence because Justice Khanna's uncle had passed an order against emergency. Racist Congress at it again. Karnataka Congress Minister Zamir Ahmed calls Union Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy Kalia or dark-skinned. He later takes a U-turn and says that he called H.D.K. Kalia out of love. Amid nationwide Waqf emergency, chorus grows to former Sanatan board. Spiritual guru Devki Nandan Thakur takes the lead. And stand by for India Economic Summit. That is all set to take place on November 12 with Union Minister Nirmala Sitharaman gracing the event from the Republic Media headquarters. Let's begin with a breaking news development coming in connection with the NIA's anti-terror operations. In fact, the National Investigation Agency is conducting extensive searches at multiple locations across the country in connection with the activities promoted by some Bangladeshi nationals as part of terror group Al-Qaeda's conspiracy to destabilize India. The information coming in from or through NIA, and I'm going to have Piyush Ohri joining us live in a bit. This is a development coming in after NIA started a bunch of raids across the country, and these are pan-India, and the crackdown is at 9 locations. These are linked with individuals suspected of supporting and funding the activities of the proscribed terrorist organization Al-Qaeda. This started early morning, and the raids are being carried out across the states of Karnataka, West Bengal, Bihar, Tripura, Assam, and the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. The searches, in fact, have led to recovery of incriminating documents showing detailed banking transactions, digital devices, including mobile phones, and other evidence related to terror funding activities. That's NIA crackdown on Al-Qaeda. All right, moving on. In an absolute shocker, a sitting Congress minister in Karnataka hurled a racist slur from the gutter at sitting Union Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy in a repeat of overseas Congress Chief Sam Petroda's racist segregation of Indians on the basis of their physical features and skin tone. State Minorities Welfare Minister Zamir Ahmed called former Chief Minister and present Union Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy Kalia, which loosely translates to a dark-skinned person. The abuse drew condemnation from Union Minister Kiren Rijiju, who likened his statement to Petroda's racist rant. Take a look at this report.
Seems like racist rants are the new normal in the Congress. A sitting Congress minister in Karnataka government hurled a shocking racist abuse at Union Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy. State Minorities Welfare Minister Zamir Ahmed called the former Chief Minister and JDS leader Kalia, which loosely translates to a dark-skinned person.
उनकी सियासत हमारी पार्टी से हुई थी, कुछ नाइतफाकिया को पार्टी छोड़ को बीएसपी गए, इंडिपेंडेंट ठहर गए, मजबूरन दूसरा कोई रास्ता नहीं कर को जनता दल को उनको वोट टाइम को जाना मंजूर नहीं, कई के वास्ते जनता दल को जाना मंजूर नहीं तो बीजेपी से खतरनाक कालिया कुमारस्वामी कर को तो वापस घर से घर को वापसी कथी घर वापसी.
The shocker of a remark was a rerun of overseas Congress Chief Sam Petroda's distasteful racist rant in which he segregated Indians on the basis of their physical features and complexion.
Where people on East look like Chinese, people on West look like Arab, people on North look like, maybe white, and people in South look like Africa.
Coming down heavily on the Congress, the JDS called out the insult of dark-skinned people and demanded the sacking and action against the minister. Not stopping at this, the Congress minister also said Muslims can cough up every penny to buy out a leader like Kumaraswamy.
ನಾವು ಮುಂಚೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮುಂಚೆಯಿಂದ ನಾನು ಆ ಥರ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಈಗ ನನಗೆ ಅವ್ರು ಕುಳ್ಳ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ನಾನು ಕುಳ್ಳ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಕುಳ್ಳ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ನಾವು ಕರಿಯೋಣ ಅಂತ ಅವತ್ತಿಂದ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಅವತ್ತಿಂದ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಕರಿಯೋಣನೇ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು, ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಪದ ಬಯಸೋದು.
Amid the controversy, the Karnataka minister defended his statement, saying that he called Kumaraswamy Kalia out of love. Union Minister Kiren Rijiju condemned Ahmed's distasteful remarks, holding them in parallel with Petroda's vicious rant. However, fellow State Minister Dinesh Gundu Rao jumped to Ahmed's defense, saying one should not read too much into his remarks.
See, if anybody has violated the law, then they'll have to face the consequences. I do not know exactly what you are saying, so we will look into it and we'll check up and see whether there's any truth to this.
As the Congress defends its racist minister, Republic asks, should we take this crass slur on a sitting union minister lying down?
All right, moving on. In a fresh war of words going into Maharashtra Assembly elections, Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis clapped back at AIMIM Supremo Asaduddin Owaisi over his explosive insinuation at the BJP, addressing party supporters in the poll-bound state. Earlier, Owaisi had claimed that the BJP's forebears wrote love letters to the British rulers during the country's struggle for freedom. In a fierce response to this charge, Fadnavis called the AIMIM chief a descendant of the Razakars. Here's the report.
The BJP and the AIMIM were literally at each other's throats. This as Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis and Asaduddin Owaisi engaged in a fierce verbal duel going into the Maharashtra Assembly elections. Addressing party supporters at a campaign event in poll-bound state, Owaisi came down heavily on the BJP as he accused the party's political forebearers of writing love letters to the British rulers while the country battled for freedom.
Hey Devendra Fadnavis, याद रखो तुम मेरी जबान का मुकाबला नहीं कर सकते ना, अगर तुम मोदी अमित शाह भी बैठ गए तो मेरी जबान का मुकाबला नहीं कर सकते। ये लोकशाही है, जमहूरियत है, यहाँ पर धर्म युद्ध और जिहाद कहां से आ गया फडणवीस? खैर तुमने बोला, अब तुमको खुजली होगी अब जब मैं बोलूंगा यहां से। अब सुनो देवेंद्र फडणवीस, तुमने कई एमएलएस को खरीद लिया, चोरी कर ली, तो तुमको क्या बोला जाए, डाकू बोला जाए या चोर बोला जाए?
Responding to Owaisi's explosive insinuation at the BJP, Fadnavis called him a descendant of the Razakars who tortured the people of Marathwada during the reign. Stepping up his verbal assault on the AIMIM Supremo, the Deputy Chief Minister said that the former has no right to address the problems of his state and his ancestors robbed women of their dignity and destroyed families.
ये रज़ाकारों के वंशज हैं, जिन रज़ाकारों ने हमारे तमाम मराठवाड़ा के लोगों पर अत्याचार किए, ज़मीनें लूटी, जिन्होंने हमारी महिलाओं की अस्मत को लूटने का प्रयास किया, हमारे परिवारों को तहस नहस किया, ये उनके वारिस है। ये किस मुंह से हमसे बात करेंगे?
Speaking to media persons during a roadshow, Devendra Fadnavis said that the BJP has the blessings of all sections of the population going into the polls, adding that the ruling Mahayuti was cautiously optimistic about winning the elections.
ये जो इलाका है, मेरी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी है, ये मेरा घर है, ये मेरा परिवार है। 5 बार लगातार इन्होंने मुझे चुनकर दिया है। मैं जो भी हूँ इनकी बदौलत हूँ और इनका प्रेम पहले से भी ज़्यादा मुझे आज दिखाई पड़ता है। मैनिफेस्टो तो कोई भी दे सकता है, विश्वास किसके मैनिफेस्टो पर है? हमारी क्रेडिबिलिटी ज़्यादा है, उनकी क्रेडिबिलिटी ज़ीरो है।
Wading into the slanging match, BJP spokesperson called Owaisi a descendant of the Jinnah and the Razakars and a past master at the politics of divide and rule.
ओवैसी के तो जो पूर्वज है वो तो रजाकार है, और रजाकार तो पाकिस्तान चले गए। तो किस पूर्वज की बात कर रहे हैं वो? हाँ, अगर वो उनके बहुत पुराने पूर्वज की बात करें तो हम सब लोग एक ही प्रभु श्री राम के ही सब लोग हम लोग वंशज है। तो अगर वो मान रहे हैं तो अच्छी बात है, परंतु जहाँ तक ओवैसी के पूर्वज है वो तो हमेशा से रजाकार रहे हैं। अब रजाकारों ने किसके खिलाफ जिहाद किया ये तो जग जाहिर है।
ये जो है वो सो कॉल्ड सेकुलर पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ के कभी प्रॉक्सी पार्टनर बन जाते हैं और कभी जो है पॉलिटिकल प्रमोटर बन जाते हैं। तो इस तरह के प्रॉक्सी पार्टनर्स और पॉलिटिकल प्रमोटर्स जो है वो जिहाद और फसाद के ज़रिए देश की सुरक्षा, समृद्धि, समावेशी सोच, संस्कार, सेकुलरिज्म और संविधान पर जिस तरह का षड्यंत्र और साजिशें करते हैं वो कभी सफल नहीं।
असदुद्दीन ओवैसी तो रज़ाकारों के साथ थे, वो कहाँ से ये दावा कर सकते हैं? बहुत से हिंदू, मुस्लिम, सिख, ईसाई सब ने मिलकर अंग्रेज़ों से लड़ाई लड़ी थी, लेकिन असदुद्दीन ओवैसी के जो लोग हैं, उनकी जो पार्टी है, उनके जो नेता रहे, वो तो रज़ाकारों के साथ थे, वो तो कहीं से भी भारत के साथ नहीं थे। और अभी बड़ी बड़ी बात कर रहे हैं कि हमारे पूर्वजों ने किया। आपने क्या किया ये पूरे देश के लोग जानते हैं।
The vicious verbal duel has set the tone for a highly charged and polarized race for the Maharashtra Assembly elections.
Moving on to another political story, but still from Maharashtra, as the BJP's call for Hindu unity gains political currency going into the Jharkhand and Maharashtra assembly polls, Prime Minister Narendra Modi renewed his attack on the ND, accusing the opposition alliance of a plot to divide OBC communities on parochial lines for short-term political gains. He said so, of course, while addressing an event marking the 200th anniversary of the celebration of Sri Swaminarayan Temple in Vartal of Gujarat. Listen to what the Prime Minister had to say.
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का झारखंड की इस पावन धरती पर जय जय श्री राम।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi played on the BJP's unity theme going into Jharkhand and Maharashtra assembly elections while hitting out at the Congress and its Indi partners over its divisive ploys. In a virtual address at an event marking the 200th anniversary celebration of Sri Swaminarayan Temple in Vartal, PM Modi accused the Indi of splitting OBC people for narrow political gains, warning that a plan was afoot to divide certain sections on parochial lines for votes. The PM urged people to rise above differences and stay united.
जिस दुर्भाग्य से निहित स्वार्थ के लिए छोटी समझ के कारण भारत के उज्जवल भविष्य के महत्वाकांक्षी उद्देश्यों को भूल करके कुछ लोग समाज को जाति में, धर्म में, भाषा में, ऊंच और नीच में, स्त्री और पुरुष में, गांव और शहर में न जाने किस प्रकार से टुकड़े 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 में बांटने की साजिश चल रही है। जरूरी है कि देश विरोधियों की इस चेष्टा को हम उसकी गंभीरता को समझें, उस संकट को समझें और हमें सबने मिलकर के ऐसे कारनामों को पराजित करना ही होगा। हमें मिलकर के नाकाम करना होगा।
His statement came a day after the Congress-led Maha Vikas Aghadi unveiled its manifesto for the Maharashtra polls, promising to conduct a statewide caste census if elected. Addressing rallies in poll-bound Jharkhand on Sunday, PM Modi alleged a plot by the ruling Grand Alliance in the state to split people from indigenous communities for electoral reasons.
हमें ये नहीं भूलना है कि कांग्रेस का द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी के साथ कैसा व्यवहार रहा है। कांग्रेस ने आदिवासी बेटी को राष्ट्रपति चुनाव में हराने के लिए पूरा दम लगा दिया। आज भी कांग्रेस के लोग माननीय राष्ट्रपति जी का अपमान करने से बाज नहीं आते। सच्चाई यही है कि कांग्रेस और उसके साथी आदिवासी संतानों को ऊंचाई पर देख ही नहीं सकते। यहां झारखंड में अभी जो हमारे चंपई सोरेन जी के साथ किया गया वो भी इसी कांग्रेसी सोच का नतीजा है। साथियों, जेएमएम कांग्रेस ने झारखंड को हमेशा पिछड़ा रखा है।
Fronting a rally in Maharashtra's Dhule earlier, the PM accused the Aghadi of pitting people and communities against one another. As the PM reinforces the BJP's unity line, the big question is, will the recurrent "Batenge to Katenge" theme prove to be the poll clincher in Jharkhand and Maharashtra?
Pakistan Cricket Board has encountered a significant roadblock on the path to hosting the ICC Champions Trophy in 2025, their first major.
Around 50 key speakers at the India Economic Summit cutting across different industries, and you can't not discuss the financial markets. I'm extremely excited to be in conversation with Rashesh Shah, one of the biggest names in the financial markets of Edelweiss. Following that up with a discussion between Rashesh Shah and Sandeep Sikka of Nippon India Mutual Fund. And in this discussion, we will look at creating wealth for all and what it means to have that billionaire mindset.
Director, the taste of success. Around 50 key speakers at the India Economic Summit cutting across different industries, and you can't not discuss the financial markets. I'm extremely excited to be in conversation with Rashesh Shah, one of the biggest names in the financial markets of Edelweiss. Following that up with a discussion between Rashesh Shah and Sandeep Sikka of Nippon India Mutual Fund. And in this discussion, we will look at creating wealth for all and what it means to have that billionaire mindset.
The India Economic Summit over the years has become a very successful conclave for deliberation. It's become a platform for vision. As the Union Finance Minister, steering the country through the most difficult and the most unprecedented of times with her calm and cool demeanor. Ms. Sitharaman knows well enough how many cynics there are in this country, but I must say it, you have taken the country through many, many crises.